The City of Lights, aka Paris, France, hosted the Olympics in 1900 as well as 1924, and this year they play host again. I've been to Paris once before in 2015. It was a very cool city, very different to what I'm used to. Super cool culture and like the history and architecture. Just really fascinating. Might not be everyone's cup of tea because it is pretty touristy, but I definitely enjoyed my time there. And as this year's Olympics approaches, Nike and Jordan Brand are coming out with a bunch of Olympic themed sneakers, one of which is the most popular Jordan Brand shoe right now, Air Jordan 4 Paris Olympics. Now, the shoe is dropping on July 27th for $225. It is an SE, which stands for Special Edition, so slightly more expensive than a regular Jordan 4. And first impressions of the shoe, I generally really like gray shoes. Like the cool grays are one of my favorite colorways ever, and this is pretty much along the same lines, so I really like the colorway of this Jordan 4. It is just very simple, very easy to wear, very subtle. Yeah, I'm just a real big sucker for all gray shoes. I'm not too sure exactly what the tie-in to Paris is. Maybe it's inspired by the streets and like the overall tone of Paris, but I've been to Paris. I'm not sure I would describe it as very gray, so I want to see more details or descriptions around the storytelling of the shoe, but just in a vacuum, very nice looking shoe. And there is a mix of materials on the upper. So on the base, you have nubuck, and the nubuck, it's decent. I do feel like there is better nubuck that Jordan Brand has put up before, but at least this isn't like that super synthetic nubuck that you found on the 2022 Jordan 4 Thunder or the recent Jordan 5 Sail. That just had very fuzzy nubuck. You can feel the synthetic nature of it. Some people actually do like how that feels, but personally, I don't love that. And then on the mudguard, you have suede, and it's that kind of very dry, almost cracked leather aesthetic that they're going for. I don't love that material also. I do prefer a suede that is like plush, kind of smooth to the touch. And then on the netting of the shoe, instead of the usual kind of black plastic netting that blocked off that ventilation there, so kind of like the Craft Jordan 4s, but the wings, that is still that TPU plastic, and this time it's got this kind of rustic, concrete type of look with those white speckles all over. And then moving on to the tongue, you have the Flight logo that is debossed into the shoe, and the Jordan 4 was the first Jordan shoe to introduce the Flight concept. And then inside the tongue, you have an upside down Air Jordan tag. That also began on the Jordan 4s. Now moving to the booty of the shoe, again a very distinct feature of the Jordan 4. It is the booty tab with a Jumpman on the back, not an OG colorway, so it's not Nike Air branding. And this tab is not like soft, like the Bread Reimagined or the Military Blues. This one, more like a general release that we've seen in recent memory. And now the laces come in this kind of light gray color, very similar to the ankle collar lining. The shoe doesn't come with any extra laces. And I'm not sure what other color I would go for. Maybe white just to make things pop a little bit more, break things up a bit. But I feel like they're trying to go for a very gray shoe. But I would have liked more options, but yeah, you don't get any options. Now the toe box of this Jordan 4 is actually not as boxy as some general releases that we've seen lately. So that's a little bit of a bonus there. Most people don't like that kind of boxy toe shape. That is quite different to the slimmer toe that we first saw in 1989. And the Jordan 4 does come with a polyurethane midsole with a Nike Air unit on the heel as well as the forefoot. And then one of the best outsoles ever, herringbone traction with a Jumpman in the cutout. Again, not an OG colorway, so just the Jumpman, not Nike branding on the outsole. And the insole of the shoe, it is Dreamcell insole. I wish they would have given us the polyurethane midsoles that we got from the Bread 4 Reimagined. That adds a bit more comfort and just molds to your feet the more you wear it. Dreamcell it is, even though it's a special edition Jordan 4. And the box of the shoe, an all grey box. Very subtly, you'll see the Jumpman logo. It's actually embossed on the shoe, so you can feel that texture. That is a pretty cool look. And now moving on to sizing and comfort, I'm a wide and flat footer. For Jordan 4s, no perfect solution for us fat footers. Toe box area can be pretty notorious in terms of being too tight, really rubs along that pinky toe area. However, when you go up half a size, there's just too much length, you have too much heel slippage. So just no perfect solution, and the Jordan 4 overall is just notorious for being very stiff, not too comfortable. The recent Jordan 4s like the Military Blues, the SB Pine Greens, the Bread Reimagined, all are more comfortable than like a general release Jordan 4 we've seen lately. I will say this is more comfortable than like the Jordan 4 Midnight Navies that came super stiff. This one is just not as stiff as some other Jordan 4s lately, so I do like that, but it's still not the most comfortable shoe. It is pretty heavy, even though it's technically lighter than a Jordan 3. I just don't feel that way on feet. The cushioning is very old, but that type of setup doesn't exactly mean it's going to be uncomfortable. The Jordan 3s have a polyurethane midsole with 2 Nike Air units. That's a very comfortable shoe. So if you just took out the cushioning, it'd be okay. But just when you put it all together, it's just slightly more stiff than other Jordan brand shoes. But compared to some other general release Jordan 4s we've seen lately, this is a step up. And that brings the total sole score of the Jordan 4 Paris Olympics to 30 out of 40. Pretty good score compared to other general releases. Now first it is colorway. Like I said, I love this all gray color. Pool grays are just one of my favorite colorways ever. This is very similar, different shades of gray, but I really like it. I love it. Apart from a few select colorways that I prefer over this, it's hard to beat. Now in terms of the materials, I don't love that type of suede, just personal preference. I don't like that kind of dry, cracked leather type of aesthetic. And the nubuck I think is okay, but I feel like nubuck on like the Jordan 5 Oregons that came out a few years ago, that's slightly better. The Jordan 3 Off Noir, that had pretty nice nubuck as well. This one I just don't feel like it's as nice. And in terms of the comfort of this Jordan 4, bit more comfortable than other general releases we've seen recently. Still not as good as like the Bred 4 Reimagined that had better insoles. Definitely not as good as the Jordan 4 SB Pine Greens. But for a Jordan 4 that is famously or infamously uncomfortable, this is not the worst. Now in terms of the versatility of this shoe, super versatile. Jordan 4 is one of the most popular shoes for a reason. It's easy to wear. It's pretty much considered a casual shoe now, not just a performance shoe. And in terms of the wearability of the colorway, it's hard to get more versatile than this. Maybe just an all-white sneaker will be more wearable, but an all-gray sneaker, it's about as good as it can get. It's honestly just pretty hard to get wrong. The Olympic shoe that I'm looking forward to the most this year is the return of the Jordan 6 Olympics. I just love that shoe. That colorway is so nice. This is not quite as good just in terms of the colorway, but it is a Jordan 4. And how can you mess a Jordan 4 up? It's very hard. Very hard. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 4 Paris Olympics. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.